welcome to this episode of Dungeon Wives.
Welcome to Dungeon Wives.
I'm Mackenzie.
And I'm Rachel.
And we're wives.
I'm an orb. I'm an orb wife.
Your orb wife?
Yes.
I'm just a person. I'm a person wife.
Yeah. It's like the Black Cauldron thing. You're Princess Alkyone, and I'm your little orb.
That is a
deep cut?
deep cut.
Maybe not for our audience, though. I suspect it's not as deep a cut as it could be.
It's a deep cut for me. I don't even know if
I know what we're doing once this session is over.
watching the Black Cauldron.
Absolutely. It's a miracle of a movie.
I think I saw it when I was younger, but
It's
I don't.
absolutely terrifying.
What?
Yeah.
Isn't it a cartoon?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So that was our top of the episode tangent.
Wow. That's some great content we just gave the world.
Mhm.
I want to say at the top of the episode, I hope you all are doing well. I hope you all
Yeah.
are holding up. I know everything is very insane right now, but I hope you're out there doing the work and just also keep taking care of yourself and
Taking care of others.
yeah.
It's a fever. It's got to get worse before it gets better. And while it gets worse, we're going to hydrate. We're going to eat 3 square meals a day or 5 small snacks. That's it. That's as long as I want to stretch this metaphor for.
There you go. And I do want to say, if you listened to the last episode, you know that we were able to donate our Patreon. So I just want to do one more shout out to our patrons.
Thank you so much.
And we are also running a Tiltify to help raise funds for the Bail Project, which we are still doing. So if you want to donate to the Bail Project, hit up our Twitter. We have links to our Tiltify there. But also, if you can, donate wherever you want to. Everything helps.
Yeah.
And
Put on one of those streams. You can put on a stream
Yes.
and it donates for you because of ad revenue. There are ways to help.
yeah,
There are
so,
ways to help.
yeah. Just wanted to say that at the top of the episode.
Yeah.
Hey, honey,
Yes.
I love you.
I love you too.
I'm really excited to play some D&D with you.
Let's get into this well.
You just gonna jump in?
Well, I'll let you do your recap.
I have to do my little last
Your
last
recap,
we left
but-
off, honey. I write it meticulously before every session.
30
minutes.
Alkyone coming out of her well to shame mankind.
Ooh, I love that.
I would love, if I were an artist, I would draw that. It would be the only thing I would ever draw.
I would love to see a piece that is Alkyone, but in that painting.
What
Is it? Is it truth coming out of her well to shame
Yeah.
mankind?
My favorite painting.
But a little hippie tiefling instead.
Hippie tiefling time.
That would be excellent.
She's already kind of had that moment too, and is it Rivermouth?
Rivermouth, yeah.
Okay,
She
I
did
don't
come
know
out
why
of
I
a
thought
well
yeah,
to
she did
shame.
to shame
the
shame
mayor.
an incompetent man.
He's a nice guy.
You know what? Men can be nice and incompetent.
Ain't that just the way? Are you ready for this?
Yes, let's go.
Where we last left off, Alkyone and Alexandrite explored the Dread Camp, where Alkyone was granted a mysterious vision after touching the creepy runic tablet. They took a locked chest and did not take the tablet. The duo pressed on to the major port city of Charvas, where they found the Festival of the Drowned Prince to be in full swing. They made their way to the center of town to see a ginormous glistening building known as the Well, but before making their way in, they ran by Ultra Bookstore and Library to, funny enough, see their sweet friend Twill, who told them that his store is in many different cities due to his magic. They researched a bit about the Pantheon, and specifically the death story of the drowned prince himself, Khudall. As they exited the store, what our heroes did not see was the mysterious vampiric assassins finding the tablet and moving out to follow our duo. You're giving me a face.
I'm just thinking about Draco Malfoy vampire twins.
This is my life now.
Yep.
Okay. So you are leaving this bookstore. You still see the giant, kind of cylindrical, white marbled building and this huge line of people that are sort of making their way inside of it. What do you want to do?
I want to hop in line.
All right, you hop in line. What if the whole session is just you sitting in line?
It's like
It's like the DMV, but
the fantasy DMV.
yeah.
I love that actually.
Let's just role play a whole
Roll
session.
for disappointment in government bureaucracy.
Roll.
It's a nat 20 every time,
Roll
baby.
for disappointment and.
Here's the deal. It's a nat 1, but because of the rules of D&D
Dungeons
DMV,
and
I rolled again, and ooh, so that's a 10. Let's see, the modifier is plus infinity. extremely disappointed in the DMV and government bureaucracy.
Do you just want to roleplay an entire session of
No.
meeting random NPCs?
No. My social anxiety just spiked, and it's not even really me.
It's not you. Does Alkyone have social anxiety?
No, she's great. She's type of tiefling who just makes friends with everybody in line.
All right. Well, I'm obviously not going to make you roleplay waiting in a line, but it
Thank
does take
you.
a while to get in there. It's a slow-moving line, actually.
Are there like little food stalls set up?
There's like people that have the little like strapped
the
on.
hot dogs, get your hot dogs.
That guy's there. A guy's just
Wow.
going, hot dogs, get your hot dogs. He's walking
Wow.
by. He looks like Mario. He's wearing like overalls and has a big
Mario.
mustache and a little
I love
hat.
that.
And he's
Ugh.
just walking around saying, hot dogs, get your hot dogs.
I was gonna say Alkyone gets one, but I don't know whether this is just my brain projecting this onto this character. Did I ever say she was vegan?
I don't remember.
I
And
don't think she is, but my
our-
brain in like the snootiest little voice was like, well, she's probably vegan. And I was like, why are you so mean to vegans, subconscious?
Our listeners can correct us. I do think that this came up before early on because I think I might have assumed she was vegetarian and you might have said no.
That sounds like me.
But also, Hot Dog Guy has like veggie hot dogs.
So I don't know. As someone who it's healthy to avoid meat. It's good to find substitutes, right?
Sure.
She gets a veggie hot dog. She really enjoys it.
All right. He's gonna ask, what do you want on it? I got everything.
Can I have it Charvas style?
Yeah.
And it's like the tears of martyred saints instead of ketchup.
He has this like this what do you call that? The thing that they strap
I
over
have
their
no
ar-
idea.
their heads.
I will not be in any
It's
help.
like a little table, right?
Yeah.
And there's little like openings. And you're
Yeah.
like, what do those go to? Because like when you look into him, when he opens it, it doesn't look like there's anything. It's like a bag of holding built into.
Oh, delicious.
So he pulled and a bag of colding for his condiments.
This is world building.
And so he pulls out, he like puts his arm in deep like Mary Poppins and pulls out like all the things he needs, and he makes it Charvas style, which is basically it's like drowned in ketchup because screw everyone that says ketchup is bad on hot dogs.
Ooh, we're getting feisty.
I love ketchup on hot dogs. It's drowned in ketchup. It has a little bit of this like weird honey mustard that they make in Charvas on top of it, and then there's like pickles and onions on it.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
So it's like Chicago. What is Chicago style?
I think it's basically what I just no. Chicago has no ketchup because that's like
it's like Chicago style, but with
ketchup.
mustard.
Yeah.
That's Chicago style. This is Charvas is like, fuck you, Chicago. What's your deal with your ketchup snobbery?
Charvas has a very intense turf war with Chicago. Yes.
Fantasy Chicago.
I
love it. Okay, so she gets her veggie hot dog Charvas style.
Okay.
We're in line.
You're in line, and eventually, it is slow moving, and you know you came in sort of midday. The sun isn't beginning to set, but it's starting to get less hot, which is nice because the sun is starting to get not as high in the sky. And eventually, you make it inside of the well. I don't know if the audience could hear Kiki yelling. Bring Kiki up. Let her say hi to the audience.
She's been very needy. Hey.
Hello, everybody. I don't know if you all have met our cats yet. We have a little kitten named Kiki who is very loud.
I don't know if she'll yell.
Well, at least
she's on the lap.
She's going to join us for D&D. Kiki is going to be every NPC from here on out.
Perfect. Okay, social anxiety gone.
So you make it into the well, and you walk in, and it by all intents and purposes is a temple. It is absolutely huge, and it's so tall from the outside you would assume there are floors.
Mm-hmm.
There's not. It is just one giant, long, open-mouthed building. Like it's open at the top, so the sun is still radiating.
So it really
in.
is a well.
It's basically a well, and there's in the center of the room, it's this giant room, there is this sort of round staircase. It basically is a staircase that goes all the way around a actual well that goes deep into the ground. That makes sense?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I can picture it in my mind.
And at the far end of this very long room, you see this giant statue. You know the Athena in the Parthenon in Nashville?
Yes.
Like, it's like that big. It's this giant statue of, it's very Grecian looking, this like white marble statue of this man who art-wise you would assume is Khudall. And he's sort of just standing in this very heroic position.
Heroic but passive pose.
Yeah, and there's other small statues of other sort of people gathered around, just kind of going across the walls, and you see the walls are lined with these beautiful marble coffins as well that just sort of surround the entirety of the diameter of this room.
You've piqued my curiosity.
I know I just say coffins and you're into it. I know my wife. And so these stairs, people are sort of meandering around as you see that the flow of traffic is they go up and they talk to this person, it seems, and I'll tell you more about them in a moment, and then they sort of go up to the well and then they come down and kind of meander in the space, and there's another door at the end of the other side. There's like sort of two doors on either side of the giant statue that people can exit out of. But you see that there's this person that's standing at the top of the stairs and sort of greeting everybody. And they're this very tall, beautiful looking person with flowing white robes that really pop against their deep, dark blue skin. They have really prominent features, almost completely black eyes. Their head is shaved, like very, very close. Like they might as well be bald, except for the fact that if you're a little bit closer, you can see there is like intricate shavings within the teeny bit of peach fuzz that they have growing on their hair. Their pronouns are they, them. You do not know their name yet. But they're sort of up at the top, and they're taking the hands of everyone that comes up. They bow their heads for a moment, and then they hand every person this sort of thick, silver-looking coin, and everyone who takes this from them walks up to the literal well and throws it in.
I love it.
And that is sort of what you see. So you're in line for this, and you're getting closer and closer. Is there anything you want to like check out or look around at before you get to this person? Really, if you are assuming you are going with the pack and going to meet this person.
And we're brushing up near the coffins, right? We're against the walls.
Not really. You're like moving in because you're like the line's pretty straight.
Okay.
So the coffins are going all around the.
Okay, so it's not like
diameter.
The line wraps around the diameter.
No, like once you go through the line, you can kind of taper off and go look at the coffins if you want.
Will I keep my place in line, or is that a silly question?
You probably would lose your place in line if you leave, unless like
Alkyne's really
stays there for you.
Alkyne's really eyeing the coffins.
Okay.
And just the walls in general. Like she's clearly itching to get some vibes.
It's very like minimalist, but there are these sort of beautiful like tiled what do you call them? Those beautiful
mosaics?
Like, mosaics. Yes, these tiled mosaics that depict the stories that you've heard of Khudall. That are sort of they're very light. They don't pop as much as mosaics do because it's like there's like white marble and the mosaics are made of like different shades of white and blues. So they're very like muted mosaics that go around. A lot of them above the coffins. Like the ones of Khudall you recognize. The ones above the coffins seem to maybe even depict the people within the coffins.
Okay.
So there's that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say to Alex, like, man, I wish I could just like touch the wall or something, or like maybe like the right coffin.
What do you mean?
I don't know. I feel like sometimes I touch important things and then I see important things.
Are you a psychic?
No.
Okay, that sounded like things psychics do.
This didn't really start happening until recently, so you know, yeah.
Are you okay with it?
I could probably process it later.
Okay, I mean, we could talk about it later if you want.
And later, yeah. In line, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it probably feels weird to do it while you're hearing hot dogs being yelled every couple seconds.
Yeah, although they're really good hot dogs.
They were, yeah. And Alex got one too, so she agrees with you.
Charva style is where it's at.
Oh, I am a just nothing but ketchup kind of girl.
A self-insert, I see. Yeah, they're just making small talk.
Yeah.
Alkyne's like, man, if only I could press my face up against these walls and see into
The future.
the future.
You can eventually if you decide
Sweet.
to do that after you leave this line. But you approach this person. You are coming up in line, and they are even more beautiful than they looked from a distance. They are wildly tall, and it's so funny because they sort of like have this energy of like, it looks like their robes are like flowing and moving in water, even though they aren't, as they stand perfectly still. And roll a history check.
Do I get advantage because my nose was just in a bunch of history books?
This is just to sort of see what Alkyone knows. It's a very low DC.
All right, 16.
You have a mother who is a water genasi,
Oh,
and so you recognize that this person is a water genasi, and so they sort of like their skin almost glistens with dampness, which like would maybe like to some people make them look kind of sweaty, but it just kind of looks good on them. Yeah, they look dewy. They look dewy, kind of, and they just have these gorgeous, like, just very bold features. And you approach them, and they sort of very silently hold their hand out to you.
Is it like one of those things like body of Christ, body of Christ?
They are a priest of this church, this temple, if you will.
Yeah, I'm gonna see what they do, and I'm gonna follow their lead because obviously this is not something Alkyone has a lot of experience with.
So they hold their hand out.
I'm gonna hold my hand out.
So you both are holding your hands out.
And then Alkyone goes, wait, and puts her hand in theirs.
Yeah, and you feel their hand is kind of damp, but it's not clammy.
And
like
not
I said.
unpleasantly so. It's just like my mom's.
Yeah, and they close their eyes for a moment, and then they open them, and it's like their eyes are almost completely blackened. Like it's like you can't even see where irises would be, so it's like hard to even tell if they're looking at you or not. And they say, I haven't seen you here.
No. We're just in town for the festival.
Oh, it's very lovely to hear. Do you follow? And they refer back to the giant statue of Khudall.
I'm always questioning.
All are welcome here. And they sort of clasp your hand, like their hand above yours, and they say, my name is Ashar. It's nice to meet you.
Alkyone.
Alkyone. And they hold onto your hand and close their eyes, and you just feel like a coolness take over your body. How like maybe you would sometimes be like, you feel warm. It's like it's the similar sensation, but it's cool. It's like it feels like a wave of cold water has just hit you, and you, if you like look down, your hands, the sort of where they're clasping your hands are glowing a little bit, and they're just sort of, there's like a slight smile on their face, and they're just sort of being here with you in this moment. And then they open their eyes and nod to you and take their hands away, and when you bring your hand back, there is this thick, big silver coin that has this beautiful, intricate sort of engraving on it that is this hand coming out of water, which is like the symbol of Khudall. And they sort of gesture to the well, and they say, make a wish in honor of him today.
Okay, I make my wish, and I toss that coin in the well.
Alrighty. Do you want to tell the audience what your wish is?
No.
What?
It's a secret tool that will come in handy later.
I don't even get to know what the wish is?
No.
Will I ever get to know what the wish is?
Hey, a person's got to have some secrets.
I hate secrets. Well, do you think I will ever know? It'll ever come up?
Yeah, it'll unfold.
All right. And you make your way.
What if it's...
What if you're like, I really wanted some pizza?
Yeah,
like,
Alkyone, the Alkyone of a week ago, probably.
I would love a Hostess cupcake.
More than anything, man.
We're not sponsored by Hostess, though. Hostess
sponsors us?
No, so we are not sponsored by Hostess.
But we sponsor Hostess.
We sponsor Hostess with the fact that we eat cupcakes.
You eat cupcakes.
I
eat knockoff Swiss rolls because I'm a snob. and I know what the superior cake is.
Whoa. I bought you the ho-hos tonight? Were they not as good as the Swiss rolls?
No. It's not your fault. I'm not mad at you. It's just like, woof.
I'm not a Little Debbie fan. I prefer Hostess over Little Debbie. Little Debbie makes the Swiss rolls, is why I'm saying this.
Yeah, they don't sponsor us either.
Little Debbie does not sponsor us, and they probably won't after I've told them I don't like their... Because I know that the CEO of Little Debbie is listening to this podcast.
They're a big
right
fan.
now.
They wrote in last week and were like, listen, if this pans out, if you keep doing this good work, we'll pay you to do this podcast. And we said, corporate doesn't own us.
That's exactly what happened.
Exactly what happened.
Sorry, CEO of Little Debbie.
No, I'm not sorry.
We should play D&D.
little D&D.
It's Debbie and Debbie. That's D&D.
Finally, the mystery has been resolved.
LD and LD. Little Debbie and Little Debbie.
Oh, wow.
Putting out some quality content here in quarantine.
I do a very mystical, solemn, emotionally weighty wish that will remain secret until I so wish to reveal it.
I cannot believe there is going to be this secret between our relationship. It will haunt me at night. I will lay in bed sweating, not knowing what this wish was.
You're going to be sweating because we don't have central air, but...
Okay, so also when you throw it into the well,
Mm-hmm.
you see that it is this very, very, very deep well. Almost, you can't even see to the bottom almost, but you do see with the reflection of the sun that you see kind of where the water lands, but you see that it is a decent 40-foot drop down to this well. And I'm not going to make you roll to look with your eyeballs, but you see that there sort of seems to be this sort of rectangular shape at the bottom of the well.
Ooh, horrifying.
It looks like a coffin.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. I want to make sure you didn't think it was like a monster, that I was like, and then
and the rectangle climbs out. No, I know it's a coffin.
Rectangular shaped kraken comes out of the well and everyone in the city's dead.
Oh yeah, we do have to warn everybody. That's when me as the player remembered I have to go ruin somebody's week.
Oh, it's okay. Maybe.
Is the drowned prince just down there?
You have to ask a person in our world.
This is extremely Catholic of you, I'm just saying.
I went to Catholic high school. So.
All right, yeah, I want to find somebody. I want to check it out. I'm going to let Alex do her wish first.
Yes, Alex does have a very similar interaction with Ashar and makes her wish, but you have probably a couple moments before she joins you if there's something you'd like to do on your own.
I'm going to touch the wall.
You walk up and touch the wall.
Yeah, as if when my fingers brush up against the surface of these tiles, I'm going to have a vision.
You take a deep breath in. You hold your hand out and very, very, very strongly, and then you slam your hand against the mosaic, and nothing happens, and the mosaic kind of feels harsh on your skin because mosaics are harsh because it's a bunch of broken ceramic, and so you slam your hand against it, and you're like, ow. And you have to shake your hand a bit, and nothing happens when you touch the wall.
Good. I'm going to inch around the perimeter with my hands behind my back, and I'm going to try to discreetly touch a coffin.
Okay. Is there a particular coffin you're aiming for?
The closest one.
Okay.
I lied. Is what you said that the mosaic tiles above the coffins seem to depict things.
Yeah.
And since I am waiting for my friend, I can now plausibly be wandering around, taking in the sights. I assume there are probably other people doing that.
Yeah. No, for sure. People, it's well, see, you're going to drag me for being Catholic.
I was about to say I'm getting Basilica vibes.
Yeah. Have you ever done the Stations of the Cross?
Yes, I was absolutely forced to.
Yeah. So, but it kind of has that vibe. It seems like they all tell a story, but there's a different main character in each of them.
Are they all horrifying and depictions of torture and you're sick and you don't fully know how to process it, so you carry that with you for the rest of your life?
No. So in that way, it's different than the Stations of the Cross.
Delicious.
But it's more there's definitely a distinct story being told, or at least the designer kind of made a through line between all the images. But people are sort of going in a particular order, they're gonna go in clockwise, looking at all the different images above the coffins, and there's little plaques, little golden plaques that are sort of in front of each coffin that people are like reading. Like it has kind of museum vibes.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna see if I can follow the story then.
All right. So it's less. I probably lied when I said it was a story, but it was definitely like
a history.
History, and basically you don't necessarily know what this means without maybe asking, but you see that the golden plaques all just say names. They all seem to be called saints. So there is like Saint Nicholas, or like Saint Sarah. Like they all have saint names.
Barb.
Saint Barb.
Shout out to Rise the Demigods.
Yes, shout out to Nikki. But all the plaques are sainted names. Saint name. And the images above them are like the mosaics. If you look at them, they make like the same photo, but clearly, probably, you're assuming, because you're not dumb, the person who is in the coffin is like the main image in each mosaic above their coffin. And so you just sort of see a lot of very similarly dressed, knight-ish looking people. Some of them look like grand wizards, and it's sort of all of them, like the mosaics, because they're going around the walls, and it all kind of leads up to this giant portrait of this giant statue of Khudall. So it's like it looks like they're all sort of gesturing to him and looking to him,
genuflecting.
As it works its way in.
Okay, yes, this is very Catholic. I'm very, very familiar with this imagery.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna discreetly try to touch every coffin I pass.
Oh. Oh.
It's just, is the coffin made out of wood, or, as I assume,
marble.
Is it marble? Yeah, so it's just, I'm just touching marble.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe I'll pretend to, like, be very moved. Even though I'm bracing for, like, a psychological, like, a vision piercing my psyche, I'm also like, oh, it's just because maybe I just really find some meaning in this.
When you touch the first coffin, so you're bracing yourself for an impact of some sort of vision. The first coffin you touch, you get the feeling of what you felt in the past, the time you touched the sort of mausoleum.
Yeah, the tomb.
Bergo. If you remember, it wasn't Irdione's tomb, but it was the first Iridala's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or who was referred to as the first. And then when you touch this tablet, you have that feeling, but it lasts like 0.5 of a second, and you can't really even see anything, but you have that shock. It almost feels like an electric shock when you touch the first coffin. And do you keep going?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You keep touching, you kind of grazing your hands on every single coffin. There's like maybe one person who's just like, why is that person touching every single coffin? And every time you feel this jolt, and it's like, it's almost like a picture show of like, it's pictures instead of videos. And so you're getting a picture every time, and it's like you're sort of moving a little bit further.
Yeah, like if I were
photos.
Like running and trailing my hand, it would be like a old timey film.
Yeah, and
with the frames.
You're just, all you can really make out is water of some sort. And if depending on how quickly you go, by the time you get to the end of it, you like cough, and you feel almost like a little bit of water come out of your mouth when you cough, when you get to the last one on the one side.
All right, let's touch Khudall.
All right, you touch the statue of him, like really all it can be is like a toe. That's how big it is.
Yeah.
You feel nothing with the statue. Nothing happens when you touch the statue.
Okay.
But below him, there is a kind of more extravagant looking coffin. You're assuming it might not be his, if you want to assume maybe his is the one that's down in the well.
Yeah.
And as it was said in the books last week, he was the only god whose physical form ever died, so he might be the only god who was ever given a proper burial. The other gods relinquished their physical forms. He didn't, so his is probably one of the only ones to ever have a burial place. Most of these places are the birthplaces of these gods. But there's a intricate coffin below his statue, and it says on the kind of golden plaque, it says Karash the first.
Touching that.
And you touch that, and you get shot back in your vision, and you see the water probably that you were getting bits and pieces of as you were kind of grazing your fingers on these smaller coffins. And it almost feels like you are underwater and you're picking yourself above the water, but it definitely feels like you're floating in the ocean. And you see a hand shoot up from the water as a man's face comes up from the water, breathing in deep as water's pouring out of his mouth and bubbling in out of his lungs. And he looks down at you and he gives you this relieved smile as he reaches out to you. And
How is he huge? Like
no, he's like your size.
he's my size? Okay, I'm not as scared.
And he but it's like a relieved smile, and he sees, it's like he looks hopeful, and this water's just pouring out of his mouth, and he reaches over to you, and your vision comes back, and you're at the temple still.
Okay, am I on the ground? Or am I still standing?
Roll a Constitution saving throw, I guess, to see how you
boy.
handled that.
Oh boy.
Because most of the time you have these visions, you're with people, and they don't last long. This one was a little longer.
It's a 6.
Yeah, you fall over, and Alex is like coming around at that time. She was looking for you, and she runs over to you, and she's like, Alkyone, what's wrong?
Oh,
you okay?
I tripped.
Okay, here, and she helps you up.
Thanks. We should find a cafe.
A cafe?
Yeah, it's just the hot dog wasn't enough for me. I wanna grab something, maybe get some a drink.
Okay, do we need to get you better sandals? Because it seems like
Yeah.
you're being very weird.
Yeah, we should leave the temple. And then maybe I will have other information to give you.
Okay, I didn't get to. Okay,
let's
go.
Wait, we don't have you. If there's like stuff you want to see, like
No, I'll look at it. It's like I'll look at it another time. It's fine.
Okay, all right.
Are you okay?
Yes.
You don't seem okay.
I'm okay. Just new information, more things to process.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go to a cafe. Let's go to a fantasy pret a manger or however the
What the
fuck
is
you
that?
You know, it's the ubiquitous.
What are you saying?
I don't know. The problem is when you're a child who like reads a bunch, you come across words and you never learn how to pronounce them. Ubiquitous?
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 I still don't know whatever French word you said.
No, it's that chain that
Le Peep?
No. Although Le Peep is very good. No, it's that chain in the UK where you can't like swing a dead cat without hitting a pret a manger.
Nando's?
No, although Nando's is a thing over there. It's like they're I don't know. You can pick up sandwiches. It's like Starbucks with more options.
You find a place called the Puddle.
Love it.
And it's pretty nearby. There's a lot of people there. There's a bit of a sort of outdoor sitting area, so you can sit either inside or outside. Where do you want to sit?
Wherever there isn't a bunch of people.
There's a shit ton of people because it's a festival and a cafe.
Where there's the least amount of people.
You make this request to this girl who is like seating people, and she's like, okay. And she like looks around and she's like, I guess come over here. And she sort of takes you to this like booth that's sort of by the kitchen. But like there's still people there, but it's like a booth, so you have the illusion of feeling a little bit more secluded as one does in booths.
Yeah. I can be down with that. I'm just gonna turn to Alex and be like, you know how sometimes I have those really funky dreams, of like giant burning, giant lava men.
Occasionally, yeah. In the time I've known you, yes.
Yeah. Doesn't happen a lot. Like I said, it's very new for me to have these dreams while I'm sleeping. But sometimes I dream that when, like, I touch important things, perhaps, like, coffins, I don't know, I also see things then when I'm dreaming, when I touch the dream coffins.
Did something happen in the temple?
Yeah.
What'd you see? Who'd you touch?
I was like, well, who did I touch? I didn't touch anybody. I touched coffin.
Well, yeah, but...
Was it Karash?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, it was a coffin of Karash, the first, right? I've been touching the other coffins. I was getting these impressions almost of water. When I touched Kurash's coffin, I saw, who else would he be? It was Khudall, right? Like, it was an arm coming out of the ocean. I was in the ocean. Arm was attached to a man. He was, like, drowning. There's water coming out of his mouth, and he was trying to breathe and seemed to be in a lot of distress. And then he saw me, and it was sort of like he was like, hey, you're here.
He spoke to you?
No, there was a bunch of water coming out of his mouth. So it was more like...
Oh.
But that's the impression I got.
This is happening a lot.
No, it's mainly happening when I touch important things.
But what's the thing that connects them? What's important to you? What does that mean?
Important to... stuff you shouldn't touch.
So when you touch things you shouldn't? That's
I wasn't supposed to touch the tablet, but I did it anyway. Probably didn't need to touch the tomb way back in Bergo, but I did. And I probably shouldn't have touched all those coffins, but I did.
Well, the tomb in Bergo was also the first.
The first, yeah. I don't know what the tablet is. I'm seeing more of a through line with, like, coffins, dead people.
Yeah.
I had a mom. She's still alive.
Okay, that was confusing.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify, but she used to see dead people.
Really?
Yeah.
Like in the ways you do?
No. It seemed less stressful.
Oh. Well, I don't know. I was talking a bit to one of the priests that was meandering around, and they told me something kind of interesting that I sort of knew, but the way the temple I'm a part of in my home is a little different than the way that this one is. But the saints, they were Khudall's children. Apparently, they said something along the lines of, there are people well before the war where all the gods had to fight Doran and all that.
Yeah.
The gods sort of made children, sort of like the Phoenix Queen. People believe she's part of that lineage, you know?
So the first then...
Probably the first child of each of these gods. Yeah,
right? So it's bloodline stuff.
Yeah, I mean, most people believe the last remaining holy bloodline, or whatever you want to call it, is our queen.
I'm gonna have to, hold her hand.
And see if something happens?
Yeah. I feel like that's the end game, is I have to hold the queen's hand and see whatever I'm supposed to see, and then the puzzle is complete.
You have to hold the queen's hand.
I have to hold the queen's hand.
It's very intimate.
Is it? I hold a lot of people's hands.
You haven't held my hand.
Well, we've been on the run, but casual stuff. Hair braiding.
That's true.
Friendship.
But I found
bracelets.
That interesting. I like my Gedarim had children, but they're not buried or kept in our temples.
I mean, Khudall seems different in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I found it very strange. I'd never seen this temple ever. I found it very strange and interesting that a lot of them were there. A lot of people believe that most of these saints died in the war against Jordan. Some of them survived and went on to have children, and a lot of the times those bloodlines were killed out by people that continued to follow Jordan even after he was gone and wanted some sick version of revenge. And I think that's why the Phoenix Queen's the last one.
That would make a lot of sense.
But Gedarim had saints. They're just not where we are. I hadn't even thought about that. I hadn't really thought about them all connecting.
All right. Well, step 1, gotta find more important things to touch. There was no way that was gonna come out sounding not weird.
Touch the queen?
Well, she's the last person we're gonna see, so got a long way before I have to figure out how to ask Queen to hold my hand. But since we are hopping from important town to important town, maybe we should go to important place and important town, touch the important things.
Yeah, I mean, the way we're going right now, I think the next place will be the capital. I mean, are we going up to see your moms?
I I would like their advice on how to ask the queen to hold my hand. That's a big step.
Yeah, I mean, they're not out of the way. If we keep going north, we'll head to that lower part.
Yeah, and then I can let them know I'm alive. That would be good.
And then if we just cut west, then we'll be well on our way to the capital.
All right. Woo, go team.
Did you actually want food or?
No, I just wanted to get out of there.
Well, we got a table. It feels rude to just leave it.
We can't just order water.
Let's get an appetizer.
Yeah, just like a little appy app.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
And you two split like a 2-for-1 appetizer combo.
Thank you, Fantasy Chili's.
I miss going to Chili's. Is that weird?
No, because we had a really lovely established routine where we would go to Chili's and then we would go see a movie because the Chili's is right next to the movie theater. And now we cannot be within 6 feet of each other. And that's okay because that's what we have to do.
We're within 6 feet of each other. I kiss you.
You know, I mean, the general we.
Oh, okay. I was like, we are always within 6 feet of each other.
Yeah.
We live together.
Oh, yeah.
So is there anything else you want to do in town?
We need to tell somebody, right?
Yeah.
Let's hop back in line.
Okay. You do so. Are you trying to make your way back up to?
Yeah, to
okay.
Ashar.
Okay. So for the sake of brevity, you make your way back up to Ashar, and they greet you with sort of a confused smile and go, "You've been here before."
Yeah, no, first time was for me, second time's for you. Is there somebody you can talk to about, the safety of the city?
What? And, they sort of, like, look at you very confused, and they sort of wave over, a young priest who kind of perks up and runs over, and they sort of tap their shoulder and move them to where they were standing and draw you over to the side of the well. Do you follow them?
Of course.
Yeah. Say, what do you think is happening?
I wish we had a letter to show you. Or, like, an amulet. You know Birgo?
Of course.
It's on fire.
What happened?
A dragon.
How is that
some
possible?
Cult activity, we think. Lady Dianastre sent me, and this is Alexandrite, Alex. I'm Alkyone.
Yes, I remember.
Wow. And the dragon probably will come here. It might stop at Rivermouth first. We already warned them. So yeah. That is my tale.
Does Birgo still need assistance?
I'm assuming so. Rivermouth sent some boats down there.
I am a part of our council. I will appeal to them and see if we can spare some of our siege.
Oh, that's perfect. That would be perfect. Thank you so much.
Of course. We are a highly fortified city, if you cannot tell.
Yeah.
And we will spare what we can. Thank you for telling me. Are you a representative from Birgo?
Yes, I am.
It is lovely to meet you. I respect the teachings of Irdione very much.
Thank you.
And they sort of nod at you, and they whistle. They do that thing where they whistle like without that very loud kind of whistle, and the priest turns around, and they sort of give them like a hand gesture and point in their direction, and they whisper something underneath their breath. You can barely make out just a small message, and the person nods and they say, "I will go right now. Thank you for warning me."
You're so welcome.
It was very lovely to meet you, Alkyone and Alexandra.
Yeah, it was sorry it's under these circumstances.
It is all right. I hope that your work continues to be fruitful and that your wishes come true. And they sort of gesture to the well and say, "I must go with haste." And they sort of leave.
Alkyne's gonna be like, that was so stressful.
Why was that stressful?
I don't
They
know.
were really nice.
Yeah, they like believed me right away.
I mean, Lady Dynastra is very respected.
Yeah, I guess if I were lying, they'd probably know.
Yeah, probably, and maybe the DM didn't even think about that. And also, this person,
Probably. I feel like
there's other reasons why this person probably knows that you're
Yeah.
telling the truth.
Yeah.
That you don't know
I'll
about.
kind of be confused.
That you don't know about, yeah.
I was gonna say, it also really stresses me out when people assume I'm religious.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Not that Irdione is like bad by any means, like A+ deity for sure, like some top shelf, top tier, godlike activity going on. It's
Yeah.
just like, someone says that you can't be like, oh, well, fuck you.
You just said fuck you in a temple.
Yeah, that's why I'm not religious.
And Alex sort of pokes at you a little bit. Do you want to go ahead and get a move on and get a jump?
Yeah.
We have a couple hours before sundown. We can probably get a little bit outside of town.
Yeah, that might be good, and I'm worried about the horses.
Why are you worried about them?
I don't know, don't you miss them?
A little bit.
Yeah, let's go back to our horses. Let them figure out what they're gonna do with the city, and we're gonna get going.
All right, next time, your mom's.
Yes, there's so many. They're all very nice.
And so you make your way back to the south. You grab your horses, and there's sort of like horse paths throughout the city you can take to get back to the north side in order to sort of
Love a
exit
good
the
Renaissance fair.
town. And as you're kind of going towards the northern gates of this city, where you'll have to exit and go across a moat, much like you did when you entered the city, you see sort of something strange. The big entrance to the city is to the south, so that's where a lot of people are coming in, and so the northern gates are a lot less populated by people, but you see there's sort of like a group of like 4 guards, like 2 on either side of the gates, and as people are exiting, they're sort of handing them pieces of paper and stopping them to tell them something as people are exiting.
Let's go grab a flyer.
Okay. And so you walk up to these guards, and one of them, he's sort of a smaller guy, and he has like shaggy blonde curly hair and like a little bit of scruff, but only on the bottom bit of his like chin kind of. And he's wearing armor, but it's a lot like looser armor. You see that he kind of has like binding on his chest, and the armor's a little bit loose on the side so that he can breathe a little bit more.
Mhm.
And he walks up to you and says, excuse me, so here? And they sort of hand you this flyer for missing persons. And they say, if you're exiting on the North Road, please be careful. We just got word this morning that a group of travelers that were meant to be making it to Willow's Rest from our town went missing. And we can only assume they went missing on the northern roads. So just be careful and be diligent. We sent out some scouts, so you should be safe, but be very, very careful on the northern roads. We assume it might be bandits.
Oh, well, thank you for the heads up.
Of course.
We'll keep an eye out.
Yeah, please. Our guards should be able to handle it, but thank you. Stay diligent and don't get kidnapped. And then there's like a burlier dude behind the younger guy, and he kind of slaps him in the back of the head and goes, "You can't say stuff like that." And he sort of turns and looks a little embarrassed. And you see that, yeah, there's like this like kind of missing persons flyer that is 3 traders, traders with a D, not traitors of, the state. I don't know. And you see that, yeah, they were supposed to have made it to Willow's Rest, and Willow's Rest sent word a couple days ago, arrived this morning, that these people never made it, and they knew they were coming from Sharvos. And so that's sort of what you see on this. So do you continue out the gates?
Yeah, we got the flyer. We got the bandit information. I'm gonna.
What's that supposed to mean?
I don't know. I just know my wife. I'm gonna swing up onto my good pal Lilac.
All right.
And off we go.
All right. You start making your way north on the northern roads to the Sunstar Forest. And the sun is beginning to die down a little bit, but it's still like a nice sort of like orangey yellow brightness that sort of fills the sky as you continue for like an hour or two north of the city. You'll probably have to sleep out a couple hours shy of the forest before you can make your way there tomorrow to see your moms. So you're only one sleep away, probably 1 or 2 sleeps away from seeing your family.
After all, it's only one more sleep till mom time.
That's very sweet. And so you've been going for a couple hours, and I want you to roll a perception check. What? What?
Seems my wife is a DM. Okay. I'm gonna have to re-roll that because
it was
I
a
dropped.
15.
Okay. Perception. 19.
19.
Not
yeah.
bad.
Yes. So as you are going, the sun is not fully set, but you are making your way there, and you're just sort of looking around. There's maybe a lull in the conversation between you and Alex, and you roll very, very well, and you very quickly spot something that looks kind of strange just off the road. It looks like it's something, a humanoid-looking shape leaning into the bushes by a tree. And you're like, oh, is there a person just like going into those bushes? But then as you get a little bit closer, and because that perception check was really good, you see it's like a statue. It looks like a statue leaning into the bushes, but that's very strange placement for a statue.
Yeah. Oh, heck. I'll go check it out.
I love D&D. You just put the little hook out. Yeah, so I assume you tell Alex to chill out for a second. You get off, and you move a little bit closer to it. I want you to roll an investigation check if you're taking a look at the statue.
That's a 7.
No, you have no additions to investigation?
No additions. That is a plus
All right.
0, baby.
You can't make out details. It looks like a person. They're in a very strange shape. It looks like they're leaning forward and reaching out, sort of. We're out ahead of them. The one thing you do kind of clock on this person's statue is that on their chest, there is the same symbol as the guards you met outside of the town. And if you follow the hand, you see that there is another statue of like a young woman laying on the ground, holding her hands out. One hand out, facing towards the statue that you initially saw, and another hand trying to cover her face. And you see these two laying there.
Hey, Alex.
And that's where we're going to end the session.
What?
Yeah.
No, she doesn't say anything back.
We'll
Don't
find out
shrug
next
at
session.
me. Don't shrug
we'll
at me.
find
That's
out-
my wife.
We'll find out next session.
Unbelievable.
I gotta give you a cliffhanger, a tasty little cliffhanger.
What a cliffhanger you have given me.
And now our cat is trying to walk on all of our dice. So it's the perfect time to end.
Perfect time to end.
When our cat is trying to walk on all of our dice.
Delicious. Dungeon Wise.
Whoa, you took that part this time.
I did. I decided to be proactive.
I liked it. Yeah, thank you for listening. If you want to find us on social medias, we're on Twitter and Instagram at Dungeon Wives. And we are also, I normally do that. I normally do that to you. Hold on. We'll do it one more time.
Take 2.
Yeah, take 2. So if you want to find us on Twitter and Instagram, we're at
Dungeon Wives.
There we go. That feels normal.
Yes,
that feels natural.
Right. That feels right.
We're also on twitch.tv/Dungeon Wives. We missed this week. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Yeah. We missed our last week, but we're usually hanging out on Mondays playing Moving Out, raising money for various charities. I assume most of our streams will probably have a way to donate to charities.
Why stop?
Exactly. So come hang out with us on twitch.tv/Dungeon Wives. Is there anything else we got going on?
No.
Whoa. we just want to say we love you all.
Yeah. As we did on Monday, it's okay to take a break.
Yeah, and thank you so much for listening. We love you. Reach out if you need anything. We're here for you. We're your dungeon moms. I don't know. And hey, honey.
Yes.
I love you.
I love you too. All right.
See you next week.
See you next week. Bye.
Bye.